again, darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing The Runaways, Volume 1, Find Your Way Home. This is issues 1 through 6. The writing is by Rowell, and the art is by Kris Anka and Matthew Wilson. I'm not gonna lie, the main reason why I picked these up is because of Rowell's writing. I follow her on Twitter, so obviously I've been hearing about these comics for like months. So I'm excited that the volume, like the trade paperback, is out, because I kind of hate reading one issue comics and then having to wait to find out what happens next. So this is like a one story arc going on here, which is like my favorite. So the Runaways are a group of superpowered teenagers, and they are running away from some really bad parents. Like, their parents are kind of supervillains. Maybe not like major supervillains, but like they're the bad guys. And this team came together to try to stop their parents, and they also found each other and found a family within each other, which is really cool. Each of these teenagers have their own powers and their own special abilities, but they're also not like superheroes. They're mostly just trying to survive. Like, if they help other people along the way, that is awesome. But their main goal is to just kind of get to the next day. So it's a little bit different than, say, reading Captain America or Ms. Marvel. A little bit different vibe. This is definitely more centered on these characters in particular and their individual struggles. It's more of a drama than like the grand superhero battles, which I actually love the difference in these characters and where they're coming from. So this story starts off with one of the characters, Chase, who's kind of like this super genius. He has gone back in time using a time machine to stop Gert from dying, because there was a timeline where she died and then everything fell apart. Also, Chase and Gert were dating, so he super misses his girlfriend and is like, we could have saved her. And so he does. He goes back in time, he brings her back, but she's severely injured and he needs to ask Nico for help. Nico is a really awesome, powerful sorcerer. And I love the fact that she's got this like emo vibe going on with her. She's a bit dark and goth, and I adore Nico. She's one of my favorites. And so Nico uses all these spells to bring Gert back to life. And then the rest of the series is them trying to bring the rest of the Runaways back together, because they've all drifted apart and done their own thing. Some of them, like Nico, have gone off and been part of teams like the Avengers. Well, technically Nico is part of A-Force, which is an all-female version of the Avengers. And some of them, like Carolina, have gone off to go do college stuff. And Molly is the youngest of them. She's gone off to be with her grandmother. I'm not gonna lie, my favorite part of the Runaways is probably the dinosaur, Old Lace, who has this psychic connection to Gert and is like super protective of Gert, which is amazing. Also, Gert is the spunky. She's like short and chubby and like she's got attitude. She's not really mad at the world, but she's very pragmatic. And I definitely see myself in Gert. Like, I am her. I love it. So Gert's my favorite. She's got a dinosaur. She's amazing. I already talked about Nico being the goth with the magical stick. Nico's power is actually pretty cool because she gets them from the stick, but she has to come up with like a new spell every time. So it's like intentional, but also when she uses one spell, she can't use it again. So she always has to be creative and trying to think about, how is this going to work? What have I already done? What's similar? Trying to do it in different languages. There's definitely intelligence there. We've got Chase, who's got the super genius brain. He's good with technology. He creates things like these fisty guns, which are basically just guns that, are gloves that he wears, which are amazing. Carolina's got these, she's basically an alien, and she can fly, and I forgot what all Carolina's powers are. We don't see her much in these. Like, I love Carolina because she's so sweet and just kind of trying to be normal, and she's a bit more optimistic than the rest of them, which I love. And we've got Molly, who's this little kid. She's, I don't remember exactly how old she is, but since there's been this time jump, technically Molly is the only one still in school besides Gert, who missed 2 years of her life. And she's been living with her grandmother. Molly's got a bit of an obsession with cats, and she's just like the sweet little kid. But also she's starting to become definitely a teenager now, and we can see that. And she's part of this family, and I think everybody's a little protective of her. Also, Molly has this super strength, which is amazing because she's like the smallest one on there, but she's the one with like the most physical strength to her, which I love. We also hear about Victor, who used to be a member of the team, and he was a cyborg. And he actually made an appearance in the Vision comics, which I've read, which is pretty cool. I love it when characters reappear, and I'm like, oh, I know who you are. So Victor's he's a robot, but also part of the team. And he also kind of makes an appearance, like he died, but also he's a cyborg, so they're trying to see if they can bring him back, which I thought was really cool, especially Chase, who's like the super genius and good with technology, but also like Victor and Chase don't necessarily get along personality wise, but they're also part of the same like family and group, so they have to work together. I love the nuances of the relationships in these books. Really, that's what this is about. It's about relationships. Really, my favorite part about the Runaways is the characters themselves, and they're flawed, and they don't have everything figured out. They're teenagers, and they're off on their own, and it's fun to watch them. It's not bad. Like, it's interesting to watch them and see what they come up with and how they figure out problems, and to see them develop relationships. Like, they wouldn't necessarily be best friends if they didn't share this common background and history of having like the evil parents that they had to fight. This book does a good job of introducing characters one at a time and going into them and kind of seeing where they are, which I appreciated. I also had a basic backstory. I also had a good understanding who these characters were from watching the Hulu show, which is amazing, and I recommend that one also. So it's called The Runaways. I love it. These are about quirky and they're fun, and I super love the dinosaur guys. The dinosaur is like my favorite part. Art-wise, got some. So here's, the first couple of pages. Here's the art in this series, which I kind of like. Characters are well developed, and like I hate it when they like halfway draw characters. So I love the fact that there are like definite facial expressions going on here, and they have actual body parts, and nothing is blurred. Thank you. Also love this like color palette, especially around Carolina. It's amazing. I love Gert's purple hair. That's great too. More of it. I love this color palette here with like the pastel-y kind of colors. Aesthetically, this is a gorgeous comic also. So, yes, I would recommend The Runaways. You can totally jump into this without having read them, but I do think it was more fun also kind of knowing who they were, what their past was ahead of time from watching the show and having a basic understanding of the comics before that, even though I hadn't read them. Like, I did a little bit of research, I'm not gonna lie. So the trade paperback has special features. There are variant covers in the back, which are pretty cool. Love the dinosaur. So in love with the dinosaur. Old Lace is like my favorite Runaway. I'm not gonna lie. There is like a kind of synopsis, like the pitch. There's kind of I guess it was the pitch, or maybe the outline of where the comic series is going in there. And then there is also the whole art development and how it goes from basic sketch to finished page. I'm not a big a fan of the art, so this part was less interesting to me, but if you love that, it's in here. Ta-da! There's my review for The Runaways by Rainbow Rowell, Kris, Anka, and Matthew Wilson. Let me know in the comments below if you have read this. Also, let me know if you have questions, because I feel like this was not my best review ever, since it's been 3 weeks since I filmed a review, period, guys, and even longer since I reviewed a comic. I'm a little bit out of practice. So, hopefully that was helpful. I really did enjoy this. I gave this entire volume 4 stars. I thought it was well paced out, and it is a bit slower paced. There isn't a lot of fighting and stuff. There is some fighting in here. There's a little bit of like an evil cat lady lurking in the background with her cats with glowing eyes. So there's a little bit of a threat. But mostly it's focused on these characters and trying to get them back together, and that is the drama of where they all are and can they become a team again. Like, they were so close before and then they drifted apart and did their own things. Can they come back together? And that's really where the drama of this is, and where each character is individually on that journey. It's really funny too, and it feels like real actual people having actual interactions. And they don't always get along perfectly, but they also, you can tell that they really do care about each other, and they really do love each other, and they really are close friends and their family. So that is a big part of this comic. Okay, let me know in the comments below if you have read this, what you thought of it, or if you are thinking about reading it and you have questions. Since I'm so out of practice, I probably missed stuff. Let me know that too. I'll see if I remember when I see them. Sorry, guys. Hopefully this helped. Totally go check out the Runaways. So peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye. My arm, by the way, this is not the lighting. This is my tan line because like I always wear shirts that go down to almost my elbow. So like this chunk of my arm does not tan. I should probably go outside in tank tops occasionally or wear sunscreen, but that was not going to happen. You're welcome for my ramble. Okay. I look cute today. I tried.